Hello, what is happening, good people? Thank you all so much for taking the time to check out the video. I really appreciate it. But we're going to go ahead and hop right in this thing. I'm not going to beat around the bush. So, we are most certainly here to talk about an episode of The Parkers. Yeah, from this old show. I believe this episode was hinting at the CV scamdemic that we were to experience 20 years later. The Parkers. So The Parkers is a comedy series. It aired it aired in the late 90s through the early 2000s. Now, this particular episode here is very interesting. So let's hop into this thing. Now, what I'm going to show really quick is the opening credits to this series. This series is about a mother and daughter attending a local community college, Santa Monica Community College. And here's the opening credits here. Just a couple things I want to show you into this because we're going to talk about the numerological synchronicities within this episode, as well as some of the other types of symbolism that's represented within the episode itself. So fair use. This is for educational purposes only. And we're going to break a few things down. I'll make it quickly as I can. Plus a couple notable mentions at the end, of course. All right, so let's get into this trailer here. I went on ahead and muted it out, and I'm going to talk over it for the sake of copyright. So here is one of the main characters. We've got Kim, Countess Vaughn, and she's sporting the lovely animal print. As soon as this comes on, MK Ultra programming. And we've got salt and pepper shakers here. Thought of like the salt of the earth, maybe. I don't know. Could be a stretch, but so she's wearing some sort of animal print here. Then we've got Monique flash across the screen. She's wearing an animal print as well as they bring her into focus here. Yep. So, and there's one other thing about the trailer that I wanted to show you guys. This is the opening credits from the first season. So it's pretty old credits here. Look at what Kim is holding up right here. We've got the 666 making its appearance, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. So season 1 of this show first aired in 1999. So we were to flip that, of course, that'd be 666. So of course the 666 made it into the opening credits. So we don't have to go much further into that, but I just thought that'd be interesting to share. Like, of course, it made it into, the episode itself. Now, let's look at the series. Let's look at some information about the series. Let's see, what do we got here? What do we have going on? Now, what I like to do, you know how we do it. We're going to give it the uncool treatment here. We're going to take a look at all the numbers and see what we can find. No matter where you look, the numbers will show up. No matter what. Like, they just can't help themselves. So, we've got The Parkers. The Parkers is an American television sitcom created by Ralph Farquhar and Sarah V. Finney and Vita Spears. So, which aired on UPN from August 30th, 1999. So, like I mentioned earlier, got the 1999 right here, which could be 666, released on August 30th. So we got the 8th month, the 30th day, or 8 plus 3. We've got 11 right here. Of course, it pops up. You know it. So as we look through, so it ran to May 10th 2004. We've got 555 right here. So there's something about the 55 or the square of Saturn. I can't really remember how to describe it. So if anybody in the comment section can remind me of what the deal is about the 5 and the 25 and all that, blah, 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 please let me know, because that number continues to pop up again. So I'll show it to you guys, but I can't really remember exactly how to explain it. But if you can remind me, I would really appreciate it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on here. Now, what's interesting here, so this has 5 seasons in the entire show. There's 110 episodes in the show. And what number do we have here? Of course, we've got the number 11, the number of magic yet again. So if you watch my previous numerological decode I did right before this about the Titan, I show a clip in there from Pastor Joe Schimmel. It shows the significance of the number 11 as it was connected to Harry Potter. That's pretty much what he built off of. So if you didn't see that, I'll leave a link to that video, maybe up in the corner here or towards the end of the video. So check it out if you missed it, just in case you missed it. So there's 110 episodes in the entire series. Yep. So let's see. Season 1 went from 99 to 2000. So I believe that was all that was here that I wanted to show. There's a lot of stuff we could really get into, but this video would be forever. So I really wanted to mention the most important things. So we'll go ahead and move on here. We're going to get into the particular episode that I want to talk to you guys about. So the episode that we're going to look at, because here's a list of the Parker's episodes. The episode that we're going to look at is in season 1. Season 1, scroll on down here. Season 1, episode 8. Season 1, episode 8 is called Quarantine. Now, you know how you might throw something on TV, especially, if you're not really into television, you might have it on sometimes, just as, some people say just to have noise in the background, blah, blah, blah. So this is pretty much how I fell across this episode. Like, I had the TV going in the background just because I just happened to be laying on a couch and just kind of chilling, not really paying attention to it. And I had the Parkers, the full season, the full series just running. Like, I thought it was pretty funny. So I just had it going on in the background. And I heard a few crazy things mentioned in this episode that made me think of CV-19. And then they actually mentioned the word Corona in the episode. So I'm like, oh, man. What do we have here? So I thought I'd take a look at it. And of course, I found several things. So this episode is in season 1, episode 8. It is the 8th overall episode of the series. We got an 88 right here. There's time and space right there. Quarantine is the name of the episode. So they were literally put on lockdown in this episode. So I'm thinking the time and space aspect is important here because this is exactly what happened in the US 20 years later. Well, the world 20 years later. That's time and space. Same thing happens over and over again. Look at the release date of the episode. The original air date, okay, is November 1st, 1999. We've got our number 11 here, ladies and gentlemen. November is the 11th month. 1999, which could be 666 if you were to flip that. So, not sure about how you feel about that, but oh yeah, they definitely know what they're doing. This stuff is not done accidentally. It's done for a reason. So yeah, so there goes some characteristics of the episode there. One other thing I failed to mention, there's 22 episodes in the season itself. We've got another 1111. So this number is just going to continue to show its ugly face. Twin symbolism, number of magic. It's definitely going to be there. Yeah. So we're going to keep going with this. We're going to follow up here. Let's go. What do we got next? So, of course, when I'm doing these type of decodes, I like to take a look at the dates, look at the numbers, look at the date duration, mirror dates, and things like that, because these numbers tell stories simply because numerology is a part of their religion, amongst other things. But numerology is definitely, one of the, important aspects. So I took a look at some notable dates as related to the Parkers series. So August 30th, 1999, like we mentioned before, is when the show first aired. It ran up until May 10th, 2004. So I took a look at that date duration calculator for that. We've got 1,715 days. So if you were to just look at this number plainly here, you see a number 17 and a number 15. You've got 17, which is Q, Donald Trump's called Quetzalcoatl. And you've got 15. What is 15? 15 immediately made me think of either a square of Saturn or the Trump card. Interesting. We got Trump's cult as well as the Trump card. And when I say the Trump card, I literally mean the Trump card. The 15th tarot card. The Devil, XV 15, is the 15th Trump or major arcana card in most traditional tarot decks. It is used in game playing as well as in divination. Now, I've discussed the 15 tarot card before, in one of my earlier videos because they like to use the number 15 too. Like, you have to be on top of it, guys. Like, they're always going to run some kind of number by you. So I'm going to put up a couple images of this thing just to kind of give you an idea here. But here's the 15th tarot card. There it is. The devil. 15th card. We've got the pentagram here pointing down. Yeah, it's just wild, right? Yep. So there's that. We're going to go ahead and get a move on here because that is the date duration for when the episode started versus when when the series started versus when the series ended, 1715. So we're going to keep going. Bam, bam. So what else did we take a look at? So I pulled all these dates up ahead of time so I can cut the amount of time, that we have for the video. So I won't have you here forever. But I pulled up the actual release date of the episode, which was November 1st, 1999, on dayoftheweek.org to tell me the position of this day on the calendar, on the Gregorian calendar at least. November 1st, 1999, the release date of the particular episode that we're going to discuss was the 305th day of the year, 1999 in the Gregorian calendar. There were 60 days remaining until the end of the year. The day of the week was Monday. So, of course, when I get the position of the particular day that we're discussing, I look up what was the mirror date for this particular day. The mirror date always tells a story, doesn't it? I mean, you can never fail. It's like this is totally happening on a spiritual level. Something always happens, of course. So let's find the mirror date. So you find the mirror date by finding the 60th day of the year. Let's check it out. March 1st is the 60th day of the year, 61st in leap years in the Gregorian calendar. There goes the mirror date, because there were 305 days remaining until the end of the year. So November 1st was the 305th day. So this is the mirror date. So what I like to do is take a look at notable events. What happened on March 1st? What story does this day tell? So the particular idea that I had is that the name of this episode is Quarantine, and they are talking about a virus. So let's take a look at the virus year, 2020, the year where the world ended as we knew it. So what happened on March 1st, 2020? Let's take a look. 10 things you need to know today, March 1st, 2020. We're not going to go through all 10. We're just going to go through the first 2 here because this is what's most important. Biden wins South Carolina primary. Also, first U.S. CV death occurs in Washington state. Isn't that crazy? So the mirror date of that episode releasing, which was March 1st, in history, March 1st, 2020 was the first U.S. coronavirus death, which occurred in Washington state. Now, there's something very interesting about this. Now, the death actually occurred on one day before, on February 29th. But March 1st, they had to wait until March 1st to have the headlines blow up, because February 29th really wouldn't have fit into their numerological, symbolism. It really wouldn't have fit as far as their religion is concerned. So it actually happened on February 29th, one day before, but the headlines really blew up on March 1st. But something else interesting happened on March 1st, so we'll get into that. So health officials in Washington state said a CV patient died Saturday. Saturday was actually February 29th. The first confirmed death of the novel, they're writing the book, they're writing the New York Times bestseller, the novel Virus in the United States. The person was reportedly a man in his 50s who had underlying health issues. That was the whole deal there. There was no evidence he became infected as a result of travel. Washington Governor Jay Inslee, Democrat, declared a state of emergency, calling state agencies to use all necessary resources to prepare for and respond to a potential outbreak. Yep, the White House also issued new travel restrictions. Saturday will bar foreign nationals who have traveled to Iran in the past 14 days. So this just kind of gives you like a little PTSD, huh? Like, oh my goodness, just all through the wire here. Yep. President Trump is also considering restrictions at the southern border, which this is going to be interesting, connecting to the details of the episode we're going to discuss. But there's that. So yeah, first CV death was the mirror date of this episode releasing. So let's take a look. We're going to get into the episode, I promise you, but I want to show you all these things first. So here's an article from one day before that mirror date, which was February 29th. This was actually the date where that death occurred. Washington State confirms first U.S. death from CV. Just want to show you that from the crappy news bullcrap, network, CNBC. We've got our face panties here. Remember all the headlines with the face panties and everybody all scared and crap? Yeah, there's that. The U.S. reported on Saturday its first death from the CV in King County in Washington State. Yep. So we're not going to get into all that, but that's the notable event. Apart from that, this is what actually happened on March 1st, 2020, the mirror date of this quarantine episode of The Parkers. First case of CV confirmed in New York City. So this is what actually happened on March 1st. So February 29th is when the first patient actually died, well, allegedly, in Washington State. And then on March 1st, the first case was confirmed in New York City. What's crazy is that March 1st, 2020, the last time this article was updated was at 8:08 p.m. We've got an 88 here. There goes time and space. So this article is going to remain in history, marked as 8:08 p.m. being the last updated for March 1st, 2020, the mirror date. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys. It just is what it is. At some point, you just have to accept it. You just have to accept that this stuff is happening on a spiritual realm at some point. Like, you can't ignore it. Like, you just can't. Just saying. So we're gonna keep going with this. See what else we got coming up here. So I did another date duration calculator here, and again, I pulled all this stuff up so I won't have to kill so much time pulling it up during the video. We'll just get straight to the point around here. So here goes November 1st, 1999. This is the actual release date of the episode, Quarantine of the Parkers. The end date, March 13th, 2020. That was the day Donald T. Rump declared the national emergency. I was just curious to see, what kind of numbers we would come up with. So this amount of days here. We've got 7,438 days. I just added both of these numbers up. 8 plus 3, we've got 11. 7 plus 4, we've got 11. We've got 1111 right here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the number of magic. I mean, however way you slice it. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, you can't make it up. I truly believe humans are not doing this. This is happening on a spiritual level. This is happening because Satan and his fallen angels rule for a short season. That is exactly what I firmly believe. I took another look here. Here's August 30th, 1999. So this is the day the series first aired versus March 1st, 2020. So the first, a day after the first case, the mirror date of the episode. I looked this up. We've got 7490 here. 7 plus 4 is 11. Then there's 9. 9, 11 backwards. I mean, that could be a bit of a stretch if you want to look at it that way, but I'm just saying, I can't ignore this stuff. I personally can't. When I'm doing these decodes and looking it up and I see these numbers here, I'm going to mention it. It just is what it is. This series had a quarantine episode where 20 years later, there was a lockdown in a virus. And the mirror date of the episode was the first day that a case was announced in New York, one day after the very first patient died in the US of the virus. Just saying. It's crazy. Like how can you get around it? Now, what I'm going to do at this point, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the episode itself. We're going to dive into it and see what kind of symbolism we can find. Now, I mentioned I was actually going to get to the episode itself, so let's go ahead and dive into this and see what we can find here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and slow this down, slow the audio down at least to try to avoid any kind of copyright hit. So, fair use, fair use. Um, I'm not monetized or anything like that. I'm not showcasing any kind of products or trying to steal somebody's work, but this is for educational purposes only. So, let's do this. Now, make sure this volume's up. So this is the episode here, season 1, episode 8. This is episode called Quarantine. So now pretty much the idea of this episode is Nikki and Kim. Oh, yeah, right on the thong there. There we go. Nikki and Kim are going on vacation in Mexico. And shortly after they leave, they get kicked out of the country and they come right back just a short couple days later. Now, as they were preparing to go on this trip, Stanley, the professor, visits their apartment to ask them to bring him some cigars back, some Cuban cigars. So, the particular brand of cigars is what pretty much made me go ahead and look into this episode because it's very particular. Now, the word Corona is actually mentioned in this episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this for you guys because I was just laying on the couch. You know, how you might have the episode, have the TV playing in the background, and that's how I was. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier in the video, but yeah, that's what I was doing. I was just chilling out, and I heard this, and I was just curious to see what else happened in the rest of the episode. Just so happens the episode tends to be called Quarantine. After they got back from Mexico, they were quarantined because they were allegedly exposed to some kind of virus. I'm gonna purposely mispronounce that word just to avoid the video from being tagged. So I'm going to skip this up a little bit to the point where he's actually telling her where to find these particular cigars. Now, this is what's very important. This is what got me interested to go down, interested in going down this rabbit hole. Now, at this point, he's telling her where the cigar shop is, and then it's the type of cigars that he asked her for. We're at the 216 mark, so we'll go ahead and play it.
Bring me 3 boxes of Olla de Monterey, double Coronas.
There we go. Olla de Monterey, double Coronas. Now, once I heard that, I just thought that was particularly interesting. I'm going to go ahead and rewind this bit just a little bit, and I'm going to play it again.
Stale McDonald's. Bring me 3 boxes of Olla de Monterey, double Coronas.
I thought that was wild, right? So, what's most interesting about this scene is that he literally says double Corona at the 2-minute, 20-second mark. Check this out. I'm going to leave the timestamp up as he's speaking. I'm going to take it back a couple seconds so you be ready for it. Because if you're not paying attention, you miss it.
Bring me 3 boxes of Olla de Monterey, double Coronas.
There we go. Double Coronas. Said it right at the 2-minute, 20-second mark. Of course, I'm pausing it at 2:21, but 22, 2-minute, 20-second mark, 22. That is 11:11. That's the number of magic. Like, how's that possible? He said it right at the 11:11 mark. Isn't that crazy? Now, I'm quite sure the actors at this point had no idea this was going to happen or whatever. It really depends on what level you are in Hollywood to know what rituals are going on. Or I'm sure at some point they completed some kind of ritual to even make it to this point to be able to play on this show. But I believe this is finally up to the doing of the director and the editors. They got to know what's going on to have edited that at that very moment. I feel like that's very telling. Crazy, right? So we're going to go ahead and skip a little further up into this episode. So that's where Corona was mentioned. Now we're going to keep going. We're going to go through this, go through it. So this scene right here, just a couple days later, they're talking about how they got kicked out of Mexico. The whole Mexico connection. And then now we got the southern border wide open. And it's just as crazy how all this is happening 20 years later. Now we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to get to the point, y'all. I promise. So, as we get into these scenes, this is where they're going to find out what's going on. They're going to find out what's going on while Kim just so happens to be wearing some MK Ultra sex kitten programming pattern right here in her skirt with red color of sacrifice. I just thought that was interesting. So at this point, Stanley comes over. He tries to collect his cigars that he ordered, his Coronas. Here we go. They're talking about the cigars. Like, yeah, go ahead. Of course, Nikki has to give him the runaround because she's got this crazy obsessive crush on him during the entire show. But we're not here to talk about that. So this is the point where the guy in the hazmat suit shows up. And then they have a play on words with his name. His name in the episode is Dr. Dumay. You get it? It's like a play on words, like Dr. Dummy. And they literally confirm it because then she makes a joke and calls him Dr. Dummy. Then it makes me think of how, the healthcare workers and people like this are literally under mind control, just following orders. Yeah, like dummies. No personality. No, I'm not going to play too much of this episode again for the sake of copyright, but I'm going to go ahead and let him say his name.
I'm Dr. Dumay.
Dr. Dumay. So, doesn't his suit look just like the suit from the Contagion movie? Where the literal CDC guy played in this movie, wasn't it Dr. Tedros the talking turd? Yeah, wasn't he in Contagion? Dude, you can't make this stuff up. Okay, so we're gonna go. This is the scene where he's telling them that they were exposed to a virus. I'm gonna mispronounce that word again. Telling them they were exposed to a virus and they only have, so many hours to live. They have to be quarantined for so many hours. And then they're all like, "What? What do you mean?" That's because everything is track trace database. They know where you've been, know where you've been around. They were literally contact traced. Okay, yeah, I remember that was a huge thing during 2020. They just gave us a taste of the contact tracing. I'm sure it'll be back. They just kind of dipped everybody's toe into that pool, but oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be back with the whole climate crisis CC33. But yeah, everybody faces is like, "What? What do you mean?" Yep. So we're just gonna continue to go through it. Oh, this outfit is just so hideous, and it just so happens to have fringes at the bottom of it that are red. Oh, it's just hideous. All right. So yeah, they're like, "Yeah, whatever, we weren't exposed to some kind of virus, whatever. We leaving up out of here." So as they attempt to leave, there's helicopters up in the air saying, "Yeah, we're going to shoot you down if you leave out of here. You're on quarantine." So they literally cannot leave. They were held hostage because they were exposed to some sort of virus, allegedly. Yep. So we're going to keep going. Now they back up in the house now, just kind of reacting to it like, "Whoa, look, what the heck?" Just how people were reacting during 2020. So the mirrors in the parallels to this episode is insane. So here's the deal here. Stanley is reading some kind of pamphlet that's telling him about the virus. Now, this is where the number 33 shows up into this episode. So as I heard this, as I was laying on the couch, like, "Oh, we got a decode here." Soon as the number 33 shows up, but it's how the number 33 shows up that's most interesting. So they tell him they're pretty much throwing away everything they had in contact with, the virus, everything that was on the plane. So they told him, "Yeah, we got to throw your cigars away." He's all like, "Oh, heck, you're not throwing away my cigars." Okay. So this is the point where he's reading off the symptoms of said virus that literally sounds like the common flu. Again, a parallel to whatever the world experienced 20 years later with the CV scamdemic. I'm gonna go ahead and let this play.
Do any of us have a fever, chills, a rash in the groin area?
Of course, the rash thing is put in for a joke or whatever, but it's neither here nor there. We're not here for that. But the next thing he's gonna say is very telling.
Don't even think about it. My point is, none of us have anything to worry about.
See? So people pretty much knew I guess on the surface, for the most part, that they weren't even sick. But until the fear factor came in, that is when people started to behave a certain way. I'm just thinking about the parallels that we had 20 years later, 20 years after this episode with the CV scamdemic. Listen, this is where the number 33 appears.
We have to be sure. Didn't he say the disease could be fatal?
Hardly. According to this, it says the mortality rate is 1 in 3. 1 in 3?
1 in 3. 1 divided by 3, you got 0.33. There you go. The number 33 makes its appearance in the episode. It's just, of all numbers, it's just important. They had to make you aware of what's happening here, or at least people with ears to hear and eyes to see can understand what's going on here. So this is where the fear sets in. This is where the fear sets in. Listens to how he describes it to her because she's not the brightest in the series.
Mean.
It means 1, 2, 3. One of us is gonna die.
There's that. There goes the fear. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna get to the point, y'all. I promise. Let's get to the juicy parts. So at this point, Nikki and Kim want to describe and explain to the professor as to why they got kicked out of Mexico. So they both are going to tell some exaggerated story as to why they got kicked out. Let's see. This is what I'm going to show. Now, these are the scenes where they're explaining what happened. I just feel like these scenes are very real. Well, very weird, not real, but very weird. I just wanted to show it with you guys and see how you felt about it. Now, when the bar scene first opens, there's a jersey right here that they want you to see, which is very important. The very first number, they're explaining a time that they had in this bar with a soccer team. Of all things, it's a soccer team. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that too. So let's look at this scene.
Was escorting me back to my
See? Soon as the scene opens up, you've got this jersey number right here. This is number 22. You can't really see it right here, but they're going to pan the camera to the right just to make sure you see it and kind of dig deep. Got a number 22, that's 1111. That's the number of magic. And one other thing that's crazy about this scene is that Nikki, or Monique, is dressed like a Catholic schoolgirl with a Catholic priest going to a bar with the soccer team. I just feel like that's very strange. And they'll literally have her acting super innocent like she's a saint or something like that. I just feel like that's just so weird. Like, what is that about?
to a small canteen.
So let's see. We're going to skip through it. See, she's all, oh my goodness. I can't believe we're here. They sell alcohol here. And she's just, talking real softly. And he's just all kind of weird, like Catholic priest like weird. Like, yeah, very interesting connection considering our borders are wide open and, we've got the migrant situation and most of them are Catholic and the Vatican is running Hollywood and stuff like that. I just felt like all this stuff was just interesting. I just thought I'd bring it all up.
Never been in a bar.
I've never been in a bar. She's all like acting all childlike. She continues to behave that way throughout the scene. See how she's looking? Look at her hair. They got her dressed just like a schoolgirl. I just feel like that's just so weird with this grown man. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to find where they show. There we go. Once they start panning through the bar, they show us the very first jersey that popped into this bar scene, number 22, 1111, the number of magic. As well as in this scene, notice how certain jerseys do not have numbers and certain jerseys do. So the numbers that are shown are very important. See, this number right here is number 16. We've got an 88. It's time and space. So we have this predictive programming occurring 20 years prior to this actual CV19 scamdemic that we experienced 20 years later. That's the time and space aspect that's within this entire thing. Nothing new under the sun. Predictively programmed in this episode 20 years prior, amongst plenty of other, TV shows, music, movies, stuff that predicted the scamdemic. This is just This is just yet another example of this happening. I just hadn't seen anybody discuss this on PooTube, so I thought I'd talk about it. So let's keep looking. There we go. There's go in this shot. There's yet another very specific number. See, these individuals, they worship numbers. It's a part of their religion. Numerological synchronicities is where their power lies. This is sorcery. This is witchcraft. We've got a number 18. That's 666. So all these jerseys don't have numbers, but the numbers that do exist are very important. I just thought that was wild as I was watching this scene. Like, it's only certain numbers being shown. They go to 88 and they go 666, 612, 18. That's wild, right? So she's up here, you know, singing some kind of song, but on this scene, she's more she's more like a promiscuous kind of girl. Like they pretty much alluded to her banging the entire soccer team. I'm just gonna be real with you. So the entire soccer aspect, and then you got Monique dressed like the Catholic schoolgirl, then you got the Catholic priest, and then like of all things, like it's a soccer team. Like, and then I think of, the print on a soccer ball, how it looks like an acrinochrome molecule. Now I'm going to mispronounce that. If you catching what I'm throwing at you, you got the child aspect, then you got the soccer team. Think of the soccer print, and the acrinochrome molecule looks just like a soccer ball. You know, who knows if that's where they were going with it, but that's where my mind took it. She's acting like the super innocent Catholic schoolgirl with this old priest. Like, it's just weird, guys. Like, oh, and look, there goes the number 11. The number 11. The number 11 itself makes an appearance here. Like, isn't that wild? Where'd it go? I missed it. Oh, I had my finger on the trigger here. Skipped past the number 11. I hope y'all saw it, though. I might not be able to find it without playing too much of the episode, which I don't want to do. I don't want to play too much of the episode. Dang it. But yeah, I'm going to try to skirt back through here. I want to show y'all that 11. I just saw it. Crap or sticks. Crap. There was a number 10, so there goes 55. Somebody please remind me in the comments the importance of 55. I don't know. I can't find that number 11 again without showing too much. I might go ahead and slap a filter over this too, just for the sake of protecting the channel from a copyright claim that could hurt the channel, But y'all get it. Oh, there goes the number 11. There it go. See, we got an 18, we got a 66. We have the actual number 11. Then we got a 22. That's 1111. That's wild, y'all. So we're just going to keep on going throughout this episode. Now, on the next scene, it's going to get flipped over. Kim is going to tell her side of the story. So, well, before that, we've got a fight. A fight breaks out in the bar. This episode is just stupid, right? You got the number 1111, 22 fighting this bald guy here. So then they get into it, blah, blah, blah. Then it goes from there. All right. So now, this scene right here, now we've got the professor thinking he's sick, stuff like that. The fear has set in and everything. So now Kim is going to share her side of the story. Blah, 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 blah. So at this point, now the script has flipped. Now Kim is some type of Catholic saint singing in Spanish, drinking milk. And I do believe milk is symbolic for child sacrifice. So we could get into that whole thing, but this video will be forever. But now the soccer team is a team of little people, oddly enough. Crazy, right? Then again, it's the same numbers. Only jerseys have certain numbers, but now, you've got Nikki flipping the script. Now she's the promiscuous girl inside the bar. I'm not quite sure the significance of that. Maybe it's some as above, so below mirror symbolism, I guess. I don't know. But the episode is just stupid overall. You want to be fair, but then Nikki fights the little people. Okay, there's that. So we just go ahead and keep going throughout the episode. Now, there you go. The professor thinks he's sick.
Professor, are you all right?
I know I got it. I can feel the disease growing inside me.
It's only been like a couple hours, and now that the fear factor has set in with the one third, the point 33, now the fear has set in. Now he thinks he has it. Like, I know it's growing inside me. Like, come on, man. The parallels is just uncanny. Like, you can't make this stuff up. So now Professor's girl comes over and unwittingly exposes herself to said virus, and now she's on quarantine with everybody else. So we getting towards the end, y'all. Blah blah blah. Yep. So now she tries to walk out, and you got the helicopters out there telling her she can't leave. Quarantine aspect, lockdown, can't go anywhere. Blah blah blah. So then they're all having their heart to hearts. You know how they do. Then we have a very interesting guest at the door. There goes Dr. Dumay, Dr. Dummy, who had on the hazmat suit earlier in the episode. He's here to say some very interesting things that I just wanted to show to you guys. Check this out.
Who are you?
Dr. Dumay. I was here earlier.
Where's
All of this was one day, and the professor already thinking he had it. It's just
your
crazy.
spacesuit?
She asked him, "Where's your spacesuit?" I thought that was interesting because, astronauts are fake and they're talking about a fake virus here. But check this out. She said, "Where's your spacesuit?" I'm going to run that back.
Who are you?
Dr. Dumay. I was here earlier.
Where's your spacesuit?
Oh, well, we only wear that when we want to scare people.
Check that out. Isn't that crazy? He said, "Oh, we only wear that when we want to scare people." That is all this is about. A fear driven campaign, a scamdemic, with fear running on the television over and over again, convincing people that they're sick, even when they showed no symptoms. I just thought that was just, an uncanny parallel, right? What he says after that is even more important.
Well, I just came by to tell you folks that you're okay. It turns out that the passenger aboard the plane just had the flu.
Turns out that the passenger aboard the plane just had the flu. Now, what were we saying from the beginning of the scamdemic? Same symptoms as the flu, right? That's exactly what we were saying. Same stuff. Like, you cannot make this stuff up. This stuff is happening on a spiritual level. This is sorcery here. This is witchcraft. Like, this is exactly where I took it, at least. People with eyes to hear and ears, eyes to see and ears to hear. Oh yeah, I'm picking up what you dropping. I'm picking up the numerological synchronicities. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking up the symbolism here.
Wait a minute, so I'm not dying?
Well, let's face it, we're all dying.
Yeah, you were just scared and convinced yourself otherwise, sir. Like, you didn't have anything.
Good night, folks.
So I feel like this is crazy, y'all. And then right here at the front door, we've got two umbrellas. You know what that made me think of? The umbrella symbolism. The umbrella symbolizes a needle, right? A syringe. The tip of the umbrella is the ferrule tip, and there's two of them. The first initial shot and then the booster, right? That's what I thought of when I saw this umbrella. We could possibly get into that too, but that can be an entirely different video. But yes, the umbrella symbolically represents a needle, and it's right there at their door.
Well,
So now they all look stupid, right? So now the episode wraps up pretty much. So there's one other thing I want to point out here. Towards the end of the episode, Kim wears yet another animal print, MK Ultra print. So I just want to point that out. They just kind of want to make it real. Like, yeah, if you thought this is what it was in the beginning, oh yeah, we're gonna kind of rub it in there. It's exactly what you thought it was, along with the red color of sacrifice. Still got the two umbrellas here. Got the two syringes. First shot and the booster. The snake bites, the two fangs of the serpent. Interesting, right? Yeah. So there's that. That's crazy. So I've got some notable mentions for the end of the video. Like usual, I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick from Monique, one of the main characters of the episode here. I just thought I'd look up her date of birth just for giggles and grins, just out of curiosity, just to see what I would find. But of course, she was born on the 11th. We've got the number of magic right here. Of course, she was born on the 11th of December. Let's take a look. Was there anything else? Oh, yeah, she's age 55 in 2023. 2 divided by 3 is 0.666. So there's something about this 55. So somebody let me know in the comment section, but because for the life of me, I can't remember right now, but I know it's something. Then Sarah Finney Johnson, one of the creators of this entire series, she also created Half and Half. That main character on there is a witch, played in the craft. I can't think of her name right now. But she was born on January 25th, so we got 25 right here, 5 times 5, another 55. We got the square of Saturn. Born in 57. That's 5G whiz, 5th generation technology, if you catching what I'm throwing. Her years active started in 1984. We got 1984. We got George Orwell. We got dystopian future connected to it. That's exactly what we're living in, a dystopian future. I just thought that was, just interesting. These people that are in Hollywood and they're probably either filled with fallen angels, allow themselves to become vessels for fallen angels, or are the fallen angels in some kind of artificial meat suit. I mean, who the heck knows, what's going on? But it's something strange going on in Hollywood. And then there's always some kind of Vatican connection. If there's some kind of religious aspect to it, it's going to be Catholicism. If you see it, if they're promoting it, it's going to be Catholicism. If they're making fun of it, the character is going to be Christian. You ever notice that? And this episode did have the Catholic connection. So, yeah. So that's about it that I wanted to show you guys. I'm just double checking my notes right now, making sure there's not anything I missed. I believe that would be it, everybody. Yeah, so I just want to thank you all for taking the time to come by and listen to what I have to say and to watch these decodes. If you like this kind of stuff, ahead, leave me a comment, leave a like, share, subscribe if you aren't subscribed. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. If I'm stretching it, tell me. And one thing I want to say is shout out to my homegirl, Ms. Maskless. She provided me the tools to go ahead and get this video done, because I've had the idea for this video for a long time. I've been sitting on it. I just didn't really have the tools that I needed to make it real. So she went on ahead and provided that for me. So I appreciate you, homegirl. And all glory to the Holy Spirit, all glory to Jesus Christ for allowing me to see these things and share it with you guys. So, and I appreciate y'all for watching once again. So, other than that, where the paranoia is most certainly uncool, I'm out of here. God bless you all. Thank you once again for watching.